Young man should not be having to choose between violent antisocial behavior and 7 hours a day of pornography.
Yep.
That's a bad choice. And the whole point is you get your life together, turn off the porn, start paying attention to becoming more successful, get serious about your education and your business, and get into the gym. And all of that stuff that these guys like Goggins and Jocko and Jordan Peterson are talking about. That's why they're talking about these things.
I saw a stat last week, talking about, I guess, some of the challenges of remaining best friends. If a male grows up in a non-intact household of any kind at all, there is a high likelihood of them going to prison than completing college.
Yeah. The number one predictor of a man being successful is seeing his father loving his mother.
Well, how is that defined?
That's defined as dad stays home and is faithful to mom.
Right.
That's what you want. As a dad, you got one job. Love her. If you want to raise successful kids, especially boys, you have one job. Love his mom. It's beautiful in its way. And here's the funny thing. I mean, people often ask, like, what do I do? What should I teach my kids? It doesn't matter what you tell them. You could talk to them in a foreign language.
Show them.
All that matters is what you do. So the number one predictor, for example, of kids growing up and practicing a religion is whether their father practices a religion. There's like a 40 percentage point difference in the father and the mother practicing on the predictive capacity on how the kids are going to grow up and behave. And it's almost certainly the case. It's because, I mean, when I was a little kid, I thought my dad was, I thought he could lift the corner of the house. My dad was a math professor. He could not.
Now I realize he was a nerd. But at the time, I thought he was cool.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a nerd, I recognize that. And my dad was a very proud guy. He never would have bent the knee to any other man, but he was on his knees on Sunday. And that had a big impact on a little dude. There's something bigger than my dad. And I saw it, and it's in there, right? That's really important in every part of life. If you want to teach virtue, practice virtue. Be the person you want your kids to actually turn into. And they will become that. Generally speaking, they'll become that person.
He basically sees himself as kind of like a dam with this circuit breaker thing in between the series of mistreatments of people.
Right.
No more. I often think about that example when it comes to stuff like, your parents didn't necessarily have the tools. You do. You didn't have an example, but you have the opportunity.
And you have the metacognitive ability to manage your emotions so they don't manage you. This is the most important thing to keep in mind. I mean, we're talking about the psychology being biology, but we also have will. We also have a prefrontal cortex for a reason. That's the most important part of the neurobiology of all, is the C-suite of your brain, where you're actually making decisions notwithstanding your proclivities. You got these urges. We all have these urges. You look at a woman who's not your wife and you go, oh man, she's really, really attractive and all that. And then your prefrontal cortex, which is the behavioral activation system, the behavioral inhibition system. That's in the prefrontal cortex, BIS and BAS, behavioral inhibition and behavioral activation, right?
Yeah.
And behavioral inhibition is more important because I want to hit my son, and my prefrontal cortex says, no, because my father hit me and I'm not my trauma. That's a perfect example of metacognition. That's a perfect example of being the master of yourself. And we actually can do that, but you got to have knowledge. That's how I teach happiness. Happiness is really a process of understanding the science, practicing habits that go along with the science, and then teaching it to other people so you ingrain it in yourself. And that's anything that you want to do, anything you want to get better at. If you want to become a better golfer, learn about golfing, golf, and teach golf. Doctors, when they're becoming surgeons, they always say, watch one, do one, teach one. That's how you become a surgeon. Anything in life actually follows that basic pattern, but you must have the knowledge such that the habits that you practice are not the habits that are just kind of lurking in your limbic system and being epigenetically expressed from the misbehavior of people 6 generations ago or some crazy thing like that. We should not be prisoners of that.